Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's MBK webinar. Today we're going to spend a little bit of time going through disinfecting protocols that can be implemented and used at your home to ensure that your home is disinfected, and also some MBK best practices that we put in place for our communities as well. It should be a good presentation today, so I hope everybody enjoys this webinar. I'm going to be, Tom Beardall myself will be the presenter of today's webinar. I've been fortunate to be with MBK for a total of 8+ years now. It's been a great company to work with. Really enjoyed my time with MBK, and I guess, you know, a little bit more about myself. I've been able to I have spent a lot of time in maintenance and the construction industry, so I feel like I have a pretty good background when it comes to these types of maintenance issues and construction and so forth. So a little bit about myself, and once again, Tom Beardall myself will be today's presenter. All right, so our marketing team was able to secure a few questions from various people regarding these topics today, and so they've been able to complete the attached PowerPoint for us, and we're basically just going to walk through some of these questions, and I'm going to provide some answers and so forth for everyone on the call. So with that, section 1, we're going to get started with what can you do in your own home? What are some of the most frequently touched items in your own home? Well, this is a great question here, and as you are all aware, I mean, there's quite a few items that are frequently touched in our own home. So I'm going to try to dive into it a little bit more for you, but some of the most frequently touched items in your own home would include door handles, light switches, convection ovens and stovetop controls, microwave buttons and door handles, fridge doors and handles, HVAC controls, remote controls for the television and entertainment system, computer keyboards or laptops, kitchen and restroom faucets, and most importantly, the toilet handles and seats. These are all high touch point areas within your own home. Let's see, next question. How do you clean and disinfect your home to ensure it's disinfecting? Another great question. To ensure these high touch point areas in your home are disinfected, you'll want to utilize a disinfecting chemical and or wipe that has been recommended by the CDC, a minimum of once per day and up to possibly 3 times per day, depending on the amount of traffic within your home. You know, and I guess a little bit more on that, anytime that you've gone through and disinfected these areas, if it's once per day or possibly 3 times a day, like I say, depending on the amount of traffic, you're gonna always want to make sure that you wash your hands when you've completed this disinfecting work at your homes. You know, and another thing to keep in mind as well, to help ensure that you're minimizing the chance of having the COVID virus within your home, you're going to want to make sure and always wash your hands as you re-enter your home. So if you go out to a grocery store, or to the post office or something along those lines, to where you're out running your errands and you've been into a few different stores or what have you. When you come back into your home, the first thing that you should do is go and make sure and use some warm water and soap and scrub your hands for at least 10 seconds and make sure that there's no virus or anything left on your hands. So best practice is to always make sure and wash your hands when you re-enter your home. Let's see here. How do you ensure your vehicle is disinfected? In order to ensure your vehicle is disinfected, you're gonna want to consider some of the following items. One of the first items I would consider would be door handles, both inside and out. Any powered window and lock buttons, steering wheel, turn signal, and gear shifter, radio and AC or heater controls, and any other levers or hard surfaces that are being touched while in the vehicle. So really, I mean, if you're in your vehicle and you and your kids or your spouses are in the vehicle with you, I mean, it's always good to touch anything or to disinfect anything that's a high touch point. So even if you got hard door handles or if somebody's been getting in and out of the glove box, or there's a container or an area that you can put your water bottles in and things like that, you're going to want to make sure and take the time and just disinfect all of those areas to ensure that your car is sanitized or disinfected. Another good thing to always consider to keep disinfected would be the keys and key fobs for your vehicles. That's something that we kind of just overlook on a regular basis, but that's going to be one of the main touch points for us with the door handles and steering wheel and things. So, and I guess once you complete the disinfecting in your vehicle, you're going to want to make sure and wash your hands. I would recommend washing your hands every time you're done with the disinfecting work. Okay, section 2. What are MBK Senior Living communities doing regarding disinfection? Let's see. So, what is being disinfected in MBK communities? There's a wide array of items that are being disinfected in the MBK communities. So we're obviously not going to be able to cover all of them, but I will be able to give you some examples of the high touch point areas that are being disinfected. One of the first areas would be entryway and entry lounge. When we're completing the disinfectant in these areas, some of the areas that would be getting disinfected would be the ADA automatic door opener buttons, all hard surfaces in the median area, maybe the door handle as well for the front door, any of those hard surface touch points right in that entry area, armrests on any of the chairs or so forth, and any countertops, anything that really a patron or team member or resident could potentially be leaning up against. Those would all be some areas that we would disinfect in the main entry and lounge area. Another area another one of the areas that's being disinfected in the MBK communities are going to be the offices. And in the offices, we'll be working on getting the phones the phones wiped down and disinfected, desks, keyboards before and after each shift, handheld radios or pagers. Any keys will be disinfected before each shift or prior to lending them to another team member. Sometimes it's there's somebody else is going to need a radio or something to communicate with the concierge or things like that. And so, really our stance on that is to have the team member that's got the radio on them to communicate back and forth, so we're not potentially spreading the virus. So if we've got to turn it over to a team member, then we would disinfect it or wipe it down prior to them using it, and then when the original person gets it back, it'll be disinfected once again. Another item that's or area that's being disinfected are going to be the corridors in the MBK communities, and within the corridors, we'll be disinfecting all door handles throughout the entire corridor. This would include resident door handles to offices, common area restrooms, and so forth. In the common areas, we will also be disinfecting handrails, elevator buttons, both inside and out, elevator handrails, and all touch points within the elevator. So, sometimes in elevators, you might have a bench for some of the seniors to sit down on and different things like that. So if there's any area like that, that would be one of those touch point areas that would be disinfected as well. Another one of the many areas that are being disinfected throughout the communities is going to be the common area restrooms. And, as those areas are being disinfected, the housekeeping team and EVS team, environmental services team, will be looking at disinfecting the doorknobs, latches, grab bars, sinks, faucets, toilet seats, and handles. So basically, those areas are being disinfected pretty thoroughly on a regular basis. Let's see, the next question. What is the disinfecting schedule, or how frequently are the communities being disinfected? This slide actually ties in, I think, to my next question, or the next topic. So yeah, this right here, how have housekeeping protocols changed after COVID-19? So I think the last slide and this one actually kind of go hand in hand with my comment here. So one of the ways the housekeeping protocols have changed during COVID is the fact that the recently noted areas that are being disinfected in the common areas are no longer being completed just once a day. Ever since we've had this COVID-19, we've actually increased all of this disinfecting work to a minimum of 3 times per day. So there's been quite a few changes with the housekeeping and maintenance team. But that's one of the biggest things. We've basically changed it to where your base, the standard disinfecting protocols have been increased to, from once a day to a minimum of 3 times a day, just to help ensure that we're keeping the virus out of the communities. And I guess more to that, if there's any, if we have to bring in an outside vendor for an emergency water heater replacement or things like that, we're also having the team members disinfect that path of travel as well, so that we're positive that when those vendors come in and when the vendors come in and leave, then everything's been disinfected all the way back out to the door to just help ensure that we're not having a virus in the community at this time. What are the types of chemicals that are being used? This is a great question. So years back, MBK was able to team up with Lysol for our disinfecting and housekeeping cleaning chemicals. So currently, the communities are utilizing Lysol chemicals and disinfecting wipes to keep the community disinfected and sanitized throughout. The Lysol chemicals are also great for the residents and so forth. Just for the main reason that it's a smell and a chemical that they're used to using in their own home in the past. So it's something that the residents are comfortable with, and will also disinfect those areas. So it's a chemical we trust as a company, and then also something that the residents feel comfortable with because they've used it in the past. Is social distancing still practiced inside the communities? So the short answer is yes. MBK does recommend that all team members and residents continue to practice social distancing protocols per CDC guidelines. That said, we ask everyone to stay 6 feet apart at all times within the communities, and even on the grounds. But the only time that we would be closer than that 6 foot distance is if the residents' care needs require a closer contact. We might be having to deliver meds or something to the residents, or maybe they need help with their showers or things like that. And so at that point, we're going to obviously be a little bit closer than that 6 foot. But during regular business and just throughout the day, delivering meals, housekeeping, cleaning the rooms, so forth and so on, we do our best to ensure that the team members and residents are all staying 6 feet apart on a regular basis. Are MBK Senior Living residents required to wear a mask? It's a good question. And actually to this question, the answer is no. MBK does encourage the residents to wear a mask, but we do not require the residents to wear a mask. And really, this is due to the fact that the residents have the right to decide for themselves if they would like to wear or not wear a mask. We MBK, we strongly recommend that they do, just to ensure that they're safe and protected from the virus. But we do not make them wear a mask. Is hand sanitizer readily available in the communities? So yes, absolutely. Hand sanitizer is available. Every one of the MBK communities has hand sanitizer readily available in multiple areas for all residents and team members to utilize as needed. So, in all of the common area restrooms, there's going to be hand sanitizer, but we also have hand sanitizer that's been placed at the concierge desk, and and really any other high traffic area. So maybe it wouldn't necessarily be a high traffic area for a resident, but maybe it's a high traffic area for the CNAs or housekeeping and environmental services team or the cooks and things like that. You know, we do have hand sanitizers staged throughout the community, so that they're able to utilize that on an as needed basis. Let's see. Do the communities have a hand washing station outside the communities? Once again, I guess on this question, the easy answer is yes. Digging into it a little bit more, all of the MBK communities do have an outside hand washing station for all team members and patrons to utilize. These outside hand washing sinks are located near the main entrance of every MBK community. And we recommend that everyone uses the hand washing station before they enter an MBK community. Now, you know, we've got these sinks in place just to help minimize the chance of the virus coming in on somebody's hands. And you know, I mean, if somebody's got it on their hands and they touch a door handle or a handrail or something, we're hoping that we pick it up when we're disinfecting the inside of the community. But if we have everybody wash their hands outside prior to coming inside the communities, this just helps to ensure that the virus is not coming in. And I guess even furthermore with this outside hand washing sink, you know, it's MBK's best practice to request that everybody washes their hands prior to coming in. With that said, if you come into one of the MBK communities and as you're leaving, it's always good practice to wash your hands once again. I mean, we're doing everything we can to keep the inside of the communities disinfected and sanitized, but if you're able to wash your hands, I recommend that you do it prior to getting back into your vehicle and so forth and so on. So the sinks can be used both coming and going. Are housekeepers wearing PPE as needed when doing laundry? The answer to this is yes. So we do require the environmental services team to wear necessary PPE throughout their workday. So, you know, if as they're doing working throughout the day, you know, they're going to have their masks on, and if they're doing laundry and different things to where it's requiring to have the gloves on, then yes, they will be wearing the appropriate PPE as needed for the different tasks at hand. How are MBK communities keeping the outside benches and tables disinfected? Once again, another great question. The outside sitting areas are being disinfected after each use. And the environmental services team will be utilizing a Lysol chemical and/or wipe to complete this disinfecting work. So, you know, really, we're doing our best to keep a good pulse if the residents or our team members or anybody else is potentially utilizing these outside tables and benches. And if so, when they're done using these areas, then we do our best to get out as quickly as possible and disinfect them prior to somebody else utilizing these. You know, the exterior benches and sitting areas are also on the housekeepers' daily task to just make sure and stop by first thing in the morning, make sure everything's cleaned and organized as well. Whoops, can we back up one slide? All right. What kinds of services does the Environmental Services Department provide? So when it comes to the many different types of services that the environmental services teams offer, it's quite a large array once again. And, you know, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to just touch base on every item or service that the environmental service teams offers. But I will try to give you a few examples as to what the environmental service team will offer inside each community. With that, what types of service does housekeeping provide? One of the most crucial services that the housekeeping team completes on a weekly basis is the cleaning of the residents' units. The weekly cleanings of the resident units will consist of laundering all dirty linens, pick up and dispose of all trash, clean and disinfect doors, door handles, and door frames, clean and disinfect kitchen counters and sink, clean cabinets, clean refrigerators, both inside and out as needed, clean and disinfect restroom area. This would include the tub or shower enclosure, sink and vanity, grab bars and toilet, sweep and disinfect vinyl or tile floors, vacuum all carpeted areas. Now, you know, this is just a few bullet points of what the housekeeping team will type of service that they'll be providing on a weekly basis. And this, you know, really this is just some of the bullet points that they provide in just the residents' rooms. But I guess more so with this, you know, the housekeeping team, you know, they're going to work on keeping the communities disinfected in all of the common area spaces. And as they do the unit cleanings throughout the week, they'll be disinfecting the residents' rooms as well. You know, and they're also working hard to keep the corridors and common areas vacuumed and cleaned and all garbage picked up and so forth. I mean, we strive at looking at the MBK communities like it's our own home, if you will. And we know it is the home of our residents, and so we do everything we can to help ensure that we're keeping the areas as clean and as sanitized as possible. Types of services does maintenance provide? Once again, there's quite a few different services that the maintenance team does provide within the communities. So I'll try to touch on a few of them for everyone on the call. But you know, this is just a few bullet points by all means. Inspect all mechanical equipment within an empty unit prior to a new resident moving in to ensure it's in good working condition. Set up cable boxes for new and existing residents on an as-needed basis. Repair and or replace any damaged or malfunctioning faucets, shower heads, and hoses. Repair and replace any toilets or toilet handles or loose toilet seats in a timely manner. Change out all HVAC filters, a minimum of once per quarter. Strive to complete all resident submitted work orders within a 24-hour period. So this this right here, I'd like to touch on this just a little bit more, but we take great pride in doing our best to tackle all of the resident work orders within this 24-hour window. We know that every one of the residents' requests or work orders is of highest importance for them. So we do everything we can to ensure that their work orders are being completed within that window. Now, in some cases, we might have to get in a special part or something different, but so it might delay that 24-hour completion time. But we do work endlessly to try to get the task completed in that 24-hour time frame. Let's see, some of the other tasks the maintenance department will be working on: maintain and service mechanical equipment throughout the year. So this is going to pertain to cleaning HVAC condensers and making sure the light bulbs are changed throughout the community and replace ballasts for the fluorescent lights and things like that just throughout the year. They're basically striving to make sure that the community's looking its best, as hand in hand with the housekeepers, just the same as you would for your own home. You want that looking the best you can on a regular basis. Another task that the maintenance team will be working on is, they work towards completing the painting work in any unoccupied unit and getting the units refreshened on an as needed basis so that the marketing team can sell those units again. Okay, so I guess now we can open it up to any questions that we might have. Let me see if we can go here to the chat and see if we've got any questions in the chat. So let's see. One of the questions is, do we foresee housekeeping disinfecting protocols returning to normal? That's a great question. I think that once we get past this virus and this COVID pandemic and everything, I do foresee that these disinfecting protocols will return to more of the standard way. So we're more so disinfecting the community like on a once a day basis. But unfortunately, until we get kind of past this pandemic, I don't know that those protocols will be changing anytime soon. Let's see. Next question. So this is regarding maintenance. Is the maintenance team able to help hang pictures for new residents? Good question. So the answer to that is yes. The best thing to do is when your loved ones moving into the community, and if they're needed to have pictures hung up and everything, then the best thing to do would be to submit a work order or just mention it to the concierge that the resident would like to have some new pictures installed in their rooms, and at which time the maintenance team will work the resident into the schedule so they can come up and get those pictures installed as quick as possible. It's really important to make sure and have the photos back up for mom or dad. So good question. Let's see. Here's another question on unit turns, or when units are being reamped, if you will, for sales. So the question is, will the entire unit be disinfected an entire unit, will it be disinfected prior to a new resident moving in? And the answer to the question is yes. You know, when a resident moves out of the community, maintenance is going to go in, and they're going to complete all the maintenance work, and then right after the maintenance is done, then the housekeeping team will come in, and they're going to do their basic cleaning and make sure everything's dusted and vacuumed and looking its best. And then also with that, they will complete any, all of the disinfecting work. So the restroom will be completely disinfected, the kitchen, all the hard surfaces, the touch points, and everything will be fully disinfected prior to that unit being available for the marketing team to even show. Okay, it looks like that's the majority of the questions right now. Okay. If you have any additional questions or comments, please email us at inquiry@mbk.com. And I guess, with that, I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day to join me on this webinar. I hope you guys all I hope everyone found the information useful. And other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.